Life is Drag, Then You Die is produced by SpoKast. SpoKast is a community-focused podcasting house. Our mission is to remove the technical obstacles for creators starting their own podcast. Did you know that the majority of podcasts only ever created one episode? What stopped them? Maybe they didn't have the proper equipment. Perhaps editing was too difficult. Or they couldn't figure out how to get it published to where you're listening to this podcast at right now. Whatever the reason, SpoKast was started to remove those technical burdens for the podcast creators, just like the creators of Life is Drag. We help them focus on what truly matters about producing a podcast. Making a podcast that is absolutely fabulous and, of course, sounds amazing. If you've ever considered starting your own podcast, then reach out to SpoKast. You can follow them on Instagram at spokast.co or by emailing them at hello@spokast.com. Now, let's get to this episode of Life is Drag, Then You Die.
Hello?
Hey, is this Fanny DeVito?
Maybe. Who is this?
Well, it's your girl, Mandalorian.
Oh, hi.
Hey, I was just calling because we really wanted to have you as a guest on our podcast. You know, like the Life is Drag podcast. Like your friend, like this bitch came on and we're like, oh, we really want to like get you on, King, and like talk about, you know, drag kings and talk about you.
I mean, I guess I'll try to figure something out.
It's like a really big opportunity for you and like your career, and we're kind of just like giving you a platform. So I would just think that like maybe you would be like really willing to come on. I don't know.
I mean, yeah, sure. That'd be great.
That's what I thought. Okay, cool. So perfect, Fanny. I can't wait to have you on the podcast. We're going to talk all about you. Are you excited?
Yeah, I guess. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome. We'll see you at the pod, okay?
Okay, bye.
Bye. Perfect. Welcome to Life is Drag, Then You Die. I'm a Mandalorian.
I'm Polyamethyst.
I'm Freddie Levon.
I'm Moronica.
And today our guest is one of the biggest names in town. You can see the talents of this performer all over the city. From Twisted Thursdays at Lion's Lair, Weekends at 9, The Bombshell Review, Drag on Tap at Iron Goat, or Nito Dragito at Nito Burrito, which are both hosted by our guest. So please join me in welcoming none other than Fanny DeVito.
Woo! Welcome, Fanny.
Oh my God, thank you.
Oh my gosh, the most booked dude in town, I have to say.
I am so happy for that, honestly, because it took too long.
To get to that point.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Sorry, I realized I need to. This is going to be actually. Well, when Freddie and I shared a mic once, it was the easiest shit ever, but.
Well, you
I
were
gotta
near
sit really
each other.
close
Yeah. I hate this. Welcome to the podcast, Fanny.
Thank you. I am so happy to be here. I
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
We're happy to have you too, our second guest.
Yeah, and it was important for us to have you on so early on, like in our guest list, because I think you're a really good representation of kings in Spokane. And, you know, kind of like a leader. Like, I feel like everyone just like.
Yeah.
Everybody knows Fanny.
Everybody knows Fanny. Everybody, I don't know, copies Fanny.
Not
Exhibit
us,
A.
of course, though. We would never.
No.
This is original.
I do have to say, going out with Moronica before she started drag, you were like the first king I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
Not that I had seen much drag before then, but you were definitely like, I was like, oh, this is a king. Like, I had to put the pieces together because I was so stupid back then. And just being like, oh, drag king. Okay. And so you were definitely like the first experience I had with kings.
And a pretty good one.
Yeah. And it, you know, so no one's topped the bar since. So you made it pretty high.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can go ahead.
How old are you?
I'm 23.
23.
Twins.
Something you guys should know about Fanny is like super professional and like runs like a lot of shows here in town. And I just think that that's really like admirable. Like,
I can never do that.
Good job
I'm
to you.
23, yeah.
Thank you.
Killing it.
Do you remember when you first met us, Fanny?
I do. I think it was Halloween, around Halloween, or it
Maybe.
was before that. I don't remember, but no, it was before Halloween, because Halloween was when you dressed up as Frankenfurter, right?
Yes.
Yes.
I don't know if you were
Yes.
at, I think you might have been at my very first performance that I did. Is that correct?
I think I was.
I remember you and this bitch being very kind to me and complimenting my performance and my drag.
And that was like end of summer, do you think? Or like
it was the beginning of the summer. I think it was probably in like May.
May.
And
Yeah.
Oh.
yeah, you guys were really sweet to me and I really appreciated that. And I was like, wait, these are like the cool bitches to hang out with. Like,
Thank you.
so that made me really comfortable. So thank you for that.
No problem. I just remember when I first saw you, I was like, oh my God, this is a new performer and they actually look good.
That is literally, that was like Moronica's thing for so long too, of just like her talents with makeup just kind of like immediately put her out there in front of people, because it was just like, she's so beautiful. And then we would come out of drag and people would be like, that stupid bitch Moronica, but she's standing right there because it's just like such a transformation for her.
Yeah.
That's so fun. Do you have like a favorite performance that like Moronica has done?
I think just because I'm a little fag and I love Rocky Horror, I think it was the Freddie Frankenfurter one that we did.
Yeah.
Thank you.
She's practically the spitting image. It's
Yeah.
kind of uncanny.
Oh my God. I thought for a second, I was like, oh my God, this is like a professional person. Like, this really is.
Not professional at all. No. I was drinking on the job, actually.
No, you are like spitting image, and you get his mannerisms down so well.
It was so good.
that
Thank you.
It rocked the boat.
I have kind of a special connection with that, Fanny, because my like first time kind of going out in drag was to the Rocky Horror Picture Show that they do at the Garland, and I dressed up for that, and that was just like my first like time being out, and it was just kind of
Liberating.
it was liberating. So yeah, I owe like a lot to Frankenfurter and everything that it is.
It was so funny too, because when we went to the Garland, people were like, "Oh my God, are you in the show?" And she'd just be like, "No." And I was just like, "You should be, because you look amazing compared to." I'm sorry. Yeah, you just looked amazing. You literally could like sub in as their stunt double. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it was. I fanboyed like immediately after seeing you. I was like, oh, and then I didn't realize it was you. And then it took me like, I think it was before you performed, but I was like, God, they look so familiar. I think it's just because they look like Frankenfurter.
That's so funny.
Yeah, there was a couple different things I feel like that threw people off, because I was like sometimes just like the fag in the crowd like screaming really loud,
Yeah.
or like my first like performance I was like hyper feminine in the face, I feel like, and then I was Frankenfurter, and so like I feel like my first few performances kind of threw people off like of who I was, or like recognizing me.
And we're famous for like not performing often, and so like we would very much like confuse people by coming in drag and then being there out of drag, and they just, for the longest time, people could not remember that like who we were.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And for a little bit, like I feel like we were only interacting within our group, so we weren't, at least I wasn't branching out as much until we got like, once we started doing drag, the community was like instantly like, oh, hey, you're one of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, very sweet and welcoming.
Yeah. Loved it.
Okay, well, we're all here for you today.
But thanks for that, guys. That was really sweet.
Enough about that stupid bitch in there. You mentioned that you haven't listened to very much of the podcast, which is fine. But what we do, or what we were hoping, our goal with doing the podcast was to track our progress as a house, because we started shortly after the 3 of ours first performance, and she had been doing it for a little bit already. And so it's very lines up with like, we're very new and we're tracking it, and we're talking about Spokane, we're talking about queer things. And we wanted to make it a priority too, to like have local performers on and kind of get like the insight or the point of view that we don't have. So that's what we're going to do with you today.
Also, every guest we tell them they're like a first of something. Like we're like, you're the first guest like ever
Yes.
because of this. But you're the first king that we've had on the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Because we only ever have one man in the house, and
We're a rare breed.
yeah.
Are you intimidated?
Yeah, I'm scared.
Well, famously, you guys almost performed the same song one night.
Yeah.
Because you guys both have such good taste.
It was so funny. I was like, oh, this will be fine. I didn't know what to perform that night. That's the only reason why I put that song in there. And then Mary Bottom comes up to me and is like, hey, I'm only asking you to do this because I know you're a professional and this other person's pretty new. Would you be okay with switching out that song? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
They're like, here's my Rolodex.
We thought that was so cool of you,
I
and
was
it
gonna
did show
say,
your professionalism.
You just like not. I think I'm just gonna do this song tonight. Like I could never do that.
I think I remember you saying that too. Like, I was thinking about just doing one song, but now I'm gonna do 3 or like.
Well, and you coming up to Freddie too and being like, that's so cool. It was just like, some bitches might just be like, fuck you, you know?
I know,
So it's
that's
just
how
like,
I felt. I was like, oh my god, oh no, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I won't perform. You have it.
I was like kind of really glad because some of the songs that I perform, only the like super older kings do. And so it was really nice to have somebody that like I already kind of enjoyed just being like, oh wow, we have the same taste.
Twins.
yes.
Yay.
Okay, well, you kind of mentioned something before we started recording, but why the name Fanny DeVito?
Okay, so when I first started doing king stuff, I was like, man, I need to have a king alter ego. I don't know what to name him. I should do something with Danny DeVito because at the time he was like super big in the memes. And I was also super into those memes. And I also just enjoy Danny DeVito in general because who doesn't?
He's a cool guy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Matilda.
Yeah.
The penguin.
Yeah. And then I like, it's like DeVito. DeVito would be a cool last name. I'm trans. Tranny rhymes with Danny. Tranny DeVito. I'm trans. I'm allowed to say that. I can be that. I could be gross, icky, and disgusting. That would be my personality. And then my drag personality. And because at first, when I started doing drag, I was like, I want to be disgusting and horrible, and I want people to look at me and go, ugh. And that
Just in the beginning? I'm just
What the fuck?
but
Yet another dig.
but like, yeah, as a trans person, that word is like just so icky and gross and disgusting, and I use it as one of my own identifiers, like because my gender in general is just wrapped around that, and like just being a gross little faggot tranny. That's like my whole thing.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, I need to have a name that I can do in front of specific crowds. Like, if I'm going to do an all ages show, and then if I'm going to be around people, because one of the things that I would do is I would ask like the producers and stuff, be like, hey, is this word okay to use? Because I know there are trans people that are part of the cast and I don't want to make them uncomfortable. And I was like, Fanny. Fanny's pretty good. Fanny packs. Fanny DeVito.
Yeah.
And then I remembered that Fanny is also pussy in British language. So I was like, that would be perfect.
It all comes back around.
Exactly.
Is that like a double entendre? Is that what is that?
I think you're right.
You heard it here, folks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that reclamation of just things that used to be called is kind of like, it's fun, it's empowering.
Yeah.
That's why I go by Moronica.
You were called a moron for so long.
I also just decided to stick to Fanny instead of switching back and forth because I got tired of asking. And I also, just genuinely just felt tired of asking people, being like, hey, here's this horrible slur. Am I allowed to use that?
Go ahead and announce me. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Say it.
Come on, sissy.
Yeah.
We thought it was hilarious when you cleaned up this bitch's name to that lady.
That lady.
Yeah.
And welcome out. That lady. that is who she is to me forever now. She's only that lady. It's like Alaska Thunder Fun or whatever.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Okay, well, so you're 23 now. When did you start drag?
I started drag when I was 18, a few months right before I was 19. There used to be a club/bar
Here it
place
comes. Here it comes.
called, get it, The Pin.
Oh.
Rest in peace.
Our audience knows that we mourn the pin always.
They did amateur shows.
They
and
did.
I was friends with some people. One of them is still doing drag. They are Venus Flytrap over in Idaho. They're pretty cool.
Venus, shout out.
So I was friends with them, like super close friends at that time. And I was like, man, I've been watching a lot of RuPaul's Drag Race. I want to be a drag queen. And they were like, well, the pin does it. And I was like, sick. And then I put on a really shitty mug and I was like, yeah, this outfit totally makes sense. And performed. And yeah.
Okay, so when you first started drag, were you doing a queen persona or were you doing a king persona always?
I started out as a queen.
Okay.
My queen name was Susan Hillary Jessica.
Why is that so perfect?
Wait,
Thank
new
So
name.
many first names.
I love it.
There was an inside joke when I was still doing queen stuff that my full name was Susan Hillary Jessica Brittany Sasha Maria Marianne. They would just keep adding
Yeah,
on.
that's so fun.
I love that.
Can I ask what your first number was when you performed that?
It was FRIENDS by Marshmello.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can
and-
you hum us a few bars? How's that go?
It's that song that's like FRIENDS. That's how you fucking spell friends. FRIENDS.
Nice.
I feel like I've heard that before.
You
I
have
love that.
not heard that.
You don't know my life. We may have scrolled down on your Instagram, so with starting out drag, you did more of a natural look. What was the transition to doing like the clown white?
I ran out of foundation.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And then your whole world opened up with
Yeah.
white.
I would use Clown White as my highlights, and I ran out of skin foundation, and I was like, damn, I don't got no money. And so I started using Clown White, and I was like, ooh, what is this? Am I a clown?
Sometimes that's all you need.
Yeah.
Every up and coming clown, give them a pale white face, and they're like, I'm
It's so
good to go.
polarizing. And
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've already had that happen a few times where, like, even for the podcast, I'm like, ooh, I don't have very much foundation, so I'll just do a white face.
Yeah.
Literally. What foundation do you use?
I use Ben Nye's Clown White. It's a cream foundation, and then I use the super white powder on top.
Okay, perfect. Because sometimes, anytime we do try to do like a white face, sometimes the foundation we use is literally.
It's so bad. It's so patchy.
I'm
I
like,
hate it.
what the fuck? I'm like, how do people do this? Remember that Ben?
Ben Nye Clown White, and then the Ben Nye super white powder.
Perfect.
Nice. I hear good things about them.
Anything,
From who?
honestly, anything like white powder when you do a white base is going to be perfect.
Perfect. I love it. So you said Drag Race was kind of your interest to drag. What season was airing? Or had you watched it forever?
So I started watching it when I was like 10 because my mom was
goodness.
into it.
Okay,
And,
Yeah, slay mom.
and then I was like, oh, this is funny. This is cool. These people are so mean to each other. And I think that might have been one of the first few seasons because it looked like shit. So, like,
Yeah.
it was probably
If you were
one
10,
of the first few.
that is 13 years. Yeah, probably like season 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Nice.
Oh my God.
And my mom was watching it, and then it was back when it was still on Netflix, I think.
what?
Yeah. And it was either on Netflix or Hulu still or something like that. I think it was Netflix. But and then I just like stopped watching it because I was 10. And then I started looking more into drag again because I've always been a theater kid, and theater and drag are the same thing. And I was like 16 and I started getting back into it and started binge watching all of the seasons on a pirating site because I was depressed. And I think I started watching at, what season are we on now?
15.
So I think it might have been season 10 or
Oh, okay.
before that. Because I don't remember, I think Coco was on that season.
Could have been All Stars 2 or
maybe
What was Coco's first season?
5.
it might have been 5 then. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. But I binged watched all of it, and I think the last season that I binged and actually watched was the All Stars season that Adore Delana was on.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
Adore was my favorite.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she killed that when she
Yeah.
was on her original season.
Great personality.
Are you into Dragula?
Yes.
So you're more into Dragula?
Oh, I am super into Dragula. I've been into Dragula since day one.
Okay. TBH, I haven't yet, put my obsessive personality into Dragula yet, but I'm sure I will eventually. But I do follow like a bunch of the queens from Dragula, and
Sick.
they pop off.
Yeah.
So.
Hoso. Mwah. Oh, she's so disgusting sometimes.
Ooh, okay,
Is it
yes.
just Hoso? Is that their full name?
Hoso's Teratoma,
Oh, okay, cool.
or something. I'm pretty sure that's her full name.
Sarah, Hillary, Parker, Jessica. Okay, so when you first started, what was the scene like in Spokane? Was it welcoming? Was it big?
Well, it was pretty decent. That was when the Globe and the Buck were the same place. Kind of.
Oh.
They would be called obviously the Globe and the Buck, and then people would be able, if you were hooked in at the Globe, then you were also performing at the Buck. And then 9, it was just really Globe and 9, honestly. And I think the only, obviously we have had the Imperial Sovereign Court as well. But it was mainly just those two places and the Pin if you were under 21. And it was decently welcoming. I mean, I was a drag queen when I first started, so it was immediately welcoming to me.
See.
They're like, perfect, we need more of those.
Yeah, totally.
I feel like the Pin was a very great place for drag. It seemed like such a good epicenter. I don't know. It seemed like the best place to get drag from, like, first seeing it, and I just miss it so much.
Me too. It was such a good spot. They had actual themes and and like all of the drag greats that we have now are originally from the Pin.
Yeah, it seems like they all got their start there. And I mean, I feel like me and Amanda too, kind of like, we never performed there, but we went to a show, and this is before we dabbled in drag at all. And Amanda made a joke to me of like, we should do that. I was like, no way, Jose. You're crazy like the fool.
Look at us now.
It's a good idea that you guys started.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I agree.
The funny thing too was, like, I think I was already really interested in drag.
You
and
had already like a secret makeup account I didn't know about.
yeah, I just like,
Sharing,
I would
yeah.
never say that out loud. I was like, no.
Me start drag? No.
Yeah, I'm not even interested in that.
I'm not gay. God.
So you were saying that it was like really welcoming as a queen. How was it like making the switch? Like, was that like a smooth transition, or was it welcoming, or?
I think it was, I mean, when I made the switch, I was still just performing at the Pin because I was like 19 at the time. And it was pretty decently smooth. I also didn't actually do good makeup. I just like put on eyeshadow and barely contoured, and they were like, okay, so that performance was good, but actually do your fucking makeup, please. My drag parent at the time was like, dude, you look like shit. I'm sorry.
Aww.
They said it more politely than that, but they were like, you don't look like a drag king. You just look like somebody who put on makeup and went up there. And I was like, yeah, fair. And
That's like a hard thing to hear, but that's like good tough love, and you look amazing now.
yeah.
You said your drag parent. Are they still your? No.
No. I still have a lot of care in my heart for that person. They did a really good job at parenting me, but there was a lot of things that I didn't align with, and I was like, hey, I care about you, and all of these things are happening right now, but I don't really feel like your kid anymore, so, like, respectfully, I'm going to step back. And they were rightfully upset because, we were pretty close friends at the time too. And But yeah, it didn't really turn into a huge thing, which was really good. We still stayed friends after that. They're over in Chicago now, and from the pictures that I see, they're doing a great job.
Good.
Oh, nice.
Well,
Yeah, Amanda said the same thing to me the other day. I'm still kind of pissed.
wow.
Oh my god.
Another thing that we don't know a lot about is this Imperial Sovereign Court. Can you
teach us?
Yeah, can you elaborate?
We don't know anything about it.
Yeah, we just see it and we're like, what the fuck is going on? And so what is it?
So, I believe they started, like, the first Imperial Sovereign Court, I believe, may have started back in, like, the 50s or before that. But it is basically these group of drag people were like, I think it was mainly queens that got together, and they were like, hey, we want to help out the community. Like, we want to help out the youth and stuff, and the community in general, and, you know, queers, and, you know, have fundraisers and stuff, and also let poor people know what it's like to be able to dress up and, like, go to coronations and feel like royalty and stuff. And so that was when the first Imperial Sovereign Court started. And then there is a whole thing. It's all over the United States. I don't know if it's international, but I do know at the very least it's national. And the Imperial Sovereign Court of Spokane, they just do a lot of stuff with youth and queer youth specifically. And they do a bunch of fundraisers to help support the community and stuff.
Well, that's so cool. And I feel like that's very prevalent in what you do. Like, any show you put on, it's like, oh, this is going to Odyssey. When you do the Nito shows, you do have like an hour beforehand where you allow like under 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, or under 21.
21.
So it must be like, we can tell that it's very important to you that like that stuff is.
Yeah. I do appreciate what the court does. I'm not part of the court. I am part of PFLAG, which is the parents and friends of lesbians and gays. And they do a very similar thing. They help out the youth, local youth and stuff, and help provide information to families and friends of people who are part of the queer community and learn how to navigate around that when people come out and stuff. But yeah, going back to the fact that I have all ages shows and stuff, I really like doing that because I didn't have that when I was starting drag. I only had the pin, and I am very grateful for Nito Burrito and Iron Goat for letting me be able to do that.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm like, what? How are you? Who's in your back pocket? Like what? Like how are you going door to door? Because I'll also just be walking around anywhere and I'll see a poster with your face on it, advertising some show, and I'm like, this guy is everywhere, and it's amazing, and it's great. Like, are you just reaching out, or are you like connected with someone that's giving you places that you can use?
I started out with the first show that I ever got to put on is Nito Dragito, and I started that because there's another queen, Lita Mon, who was part of this drag group called The Collective, and there was a few other performers that I don't remember the name of right now that were part of it too, and they were doing all ages shows at all ages and 21 plus shows the same way that I have it set up. Last year, no, it was like immediately after COVID restrictions went down and we were allowed to have shows again, and then they stopped because it was at that point it was just Lita running it, and she got super busy with life. And so I reached out to her and I was like, hey, by the way, how do I get in contact with people so that way I can like bring this back out because I want to perform more, and also I want to try my hand at hosting and producing and stuff. So she gave me the contact for the owner of Nito Burrito, and I was like, hello, owner of Nito Burrito. My name is Fanny DeVito. I want to do a show. Can I please? And they were like, yeah, sure. Come to it. Let's have a meeting and everything. And I had the meeting, and it was so originally going to be called Spokane Does Suck. But then the owner, Patty, she was like, we had something similar with t-shirts, and people got mad at us, so please don't.
Oh, I was gonna say I would have loved that.
That's
name.
funny.
Yeah. And then Nido Dragito became a thing because I was like cleaning my room and I was like, Nido Dragito. Because
Yeah, that's great. And
It's
it's perfect with your
little
name.
drag.
It's perfect with your Nino
Yeah.
Dragito, hosted by Fanny DeVito. It's just like, oh, it just rolls off the tongue.
I
Yeah.
think something that's so cool about your show too is it's like it's you, someone who's in like the scene and like a younger person, and it doesn't feel like as disconnected as some of the bigger places here in Spokane. And I feel like you get like people that go to shows and really love drag come, like it's an actual community there.
Yes, I love the shows at Nido.
All the little different clicks at the table too of like just like, oh, I see them out all the time and they're so sweet and they love it.
Right.
Yeah.
That is one thing I just love about going out is that you see the same groups of friends every single time. And, you know, sometimes we say like, hey, give each other hugs. Sometimes we don't. It's like a understanding that we just like smile at each other and that's it. But it's just like there's so many of those little groups and we're also nice to each other. At least I hope. Do you think our group is nice?
yeah, I do.
Okay.
You have something coming. I love your reasoning for like, I didn't have this, so I wanted to do it, because that's something similar that Freddie was saying when we all were doing drag, was like, I don't see my type of drag represented, because when it comes to drag kings, it seems like there's one area and very few go on side roads. And so, you know, Freddie was like, I just want to be the representation I'm wanting to see. And I feel like that's exactly what you did, where it's just like, I want to give opportunities that I didn't have. I want to put on shows that I didn't get to see or be a part of. I love that.
Thank
I
you.
love it. I love it. How do you come up with like the themes for Nido?
So I host with this bitch sometimes, and sometimes it's with other people. It's mainly this bitch though. So I will sometimes be like, hey, what are you thinking we should do? And like Clownmageddon is this bitch's idea. And
Really?
yeah, they've been wanting to do it for a really long time. And I was like, I also want to do it. So
I can't wait.
Fun.
me too. But usually I'm just like vibing, and then I'm like, oh shit, I need to figure out a theme like right now. Let's do Cringe Fest.
I love
Nice.
it. And with your Drag on Tap, is that a theme show or is it more just like performances?
I haven't decided yet because we've only had that one show, and I still need to like talk to people and stuff to see if we're going to continue doing those. But I don't doubt we're not going to.
Oh, T-Bitch. And I love Iron Goat. What a perfect place
It's
out there
so
to do that. Ooh.
But I haven't decided if I'm going to do themes or not. I think I'm going to try to do Drag on Tap as more of a like normal drag show.
Freeform.
Yeah. Whereas Nudo Burrito is the more alternative side of everything.
Yeah.
I'm still going to try to have like a good mix of everything. But like,
Yep.
While
That's
themes
awesome.
are like amazing and like I love a theme show, it's also nice that like Queens and Kings can be part of a show that's not always themed, because it's hard to fit in sometimes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're like kind of, I don't know, bad at planning.
yeah.
So I like
us.
that. You're
Some of
talking
my
about
themes
this.
are too weird to plan, honestly. Like Cringe Fest, what the fuck is that?
Well, it's cool because it like kind of shows people's creative sides. That's why I do love it. It's just like, let's see how you think outside of the box.
I literally was like texting them, be like, oh, if I had done Cringe Fest, this is what I would have done. And it was like, it was that song that like Nick Jonas sang in Camp Rock where he's like, I like cheese, but only on pizza, please. And I
Oh
was
my
like,
God.
wait, that would have killed.
I would have. Oh my God.
How did the Cringe Fest show go?
It went really
hate
good for
this.
the most part.
Was it cringy?
Okay, it was cringy, but I believe we were cursed because I had the DashCon ball pit, and in the middle of somebody's performance, some guy came up and attacked our doorman and stole all of our money. Oh. And then, thankfully, I'm very thankful to all of the audience members and stuff who ran outside. So the person got attacked, and immediately the audience members, like a large group of them, got up and ran outside to try to stop him. But he had bear mace on them, and they let him go, which I am also very thankful for, because I would have been so mad if anybody got even more hurt than they did.
Yeah.
They should not personally, I am glad that they did run out and try to be heroic, but I also want people to be safe.
Yeah.
Money doesn't fucking matter. But I'm thankful, and I'm glad that nobody got too hurt.
That's crazy.
Did
my
they catch
God.
the person or no?
No.
The
The-
Spokane
course.
Police Department? No.
Of
No.
course.
they showed up because somebody called and then didn't take any of the evidence with them. And they were like basically kind of standoffish about it. They were kind of just like, oh, nobody's too hurt, so whatever.
Yeah.
Why are you here?
Yeah. But it was also a really good time to really like experience true community.
Yeah.
Because when I gave the announcement, I was like, hey, just so you know, we did lose our money. Thank you to everybody who did go out and try to stop the guy, but you know, it still happened. But it doesn't matter. And we're gonna keep the show on the road as long as everyone is okay with it. And the show outside of that went off without a hitch, and it was so energetic
Good.
and so perfect. And
There's nothing like some sort of, okay, traumatic is a big word, but like traumatic experience that you can all experience together, and then afterwards it's just like pure joy, 'cause it's like,
yeah,
oh my God, I love you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna
People-
like live and be happy instead.
Yeah,
And,
Yeah. people donated money back too, so
Oh, wow.
we still had like a pretty decent amount of money after that. And they
nice.
tipped really good and everything, and it was very,
My
very
ass
nice.
would have went right back to the ATM to pull out of like my savings or something. Fuck it.
No, your ass would have been chasing that motherfucking down the street and get maced.
I would have been maced. Yeah. I don't know when to stop. You're already doing so much constantly, because when you're not doing your own shows, you're at 9 or you're at the Bombshell or you're somewhere else. You're always at Thursday nights. I don't know. We haven't been in a while. I don't know if you still go.
I kind of skipped out for like 3 weeks because I got too busy.
3 weeks? Try 6 months. What are some of your goals or aspirations when it comes to like drag? Do you see beyond the city? Do you see in the city?
I when it comes to being in the city, I hope to do more, I guess. I want drag to be like my full-time thing. Unfortunately, it can't right now because the economy. But anyway, yeah, I want it to be more of a full-time thing, and I do it as often as I am emotionally and physically able to do. And I do see way beyond the city. It feels okay. This is the biggest small city that you'll ever be in the like in Washington at least.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah. And so a lot of the drag is kind of stuck in its ways, and no matter how many times I like kick and punch and scream about it, it's probably, I mean, I'm doing a pretty decent job at like adding more. Sorry.
Polycore. Yeah.
But it like yeah, so there's not really a super lot that I can do outside of this, outside of what I'm already doing, and so my eyes are kind of on Seattle or Portland.
Oh,
and, like,
yeah.
eventually.
Welcome to the motherfucking
Yeah.
club.
Yeah.
How about you join our roster and we'll just take a bus over to Portland together?
Yeah. Honestly,
Honestly, wait.
wait, that works.
That fits in my schedule.
You have-
Yeah, I'll
you-
make it fit.
You have friends probably. You've performed in Seattle, right? And then have you
Yeah.
performed in Portland before?
I haven't performed in Portland. I've performed once in Seattle, technically twice if you want to count that little runway thing that I did. But there's like this,
I want to count it.
Yeah.
there's a King's group in Seattle that does a bunch of shows, and one of the shows that they do yearly is prom. And I got Prom King, their first show back.
I
from
remember
COVID.
seeing
Yeah, I
post
do
about
remember
that.
that.
That was really cool.
Not to toot my own horn or anything,
Please do.
Yeah.
but
Toot.
toot toot. But then I performed at one of their like open format shows when I went to visit for Pride last year. But I haven't had the opportunity to perform in Portland just yet. There was one opportunity, but I ended up not going through with it. But it's mostly just traveling that I have an issue with, honestly.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
And even just like doing drag alone is hard. Like
Doing drag
Bring in all your stuff.
the
10
amount-
minutes
God.
from where I live is hard.
yeah,
Yeah.
doing it the amount that you do, and then you have just like a regular like day job too, right? Like that's what I feel like that's just so hard.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
It can be.
You were talking about this bitch. Can I ask you what it was like meeting this bitch for the first time? Because I want to know about that.
It was pretty funky because we both met at the Pin together during one of the shows. Rip. And
Not that again.
the Pin. But yeah, we were just like, this was like 5 years ago, and we were both performing in the same show, and I was like, your face looks weird and I like it, and they were like, oh, thanks. And then yeah, we just kind of like became friends after that.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love how natural it is to become friends with other queer people. Of just
Yeah.
like, we're all like, there's just like, I don't know. I feel like literally what are you looking at?
I'm just smiling in agreement. I'm like, yeah. And I was looking how beautiful you are.
Sorry, I don't have my glasses on.
Don't worry,
It
I
looks
won't
like-
ever fucking look at you again, bitch.
But like, I feel like there isn't that like aspect of like trying to undermine someone when you're queer. It's just like, no, we're all here together. Like we're just friends, and we're gonna be nice to each other. And even if we aren't friends, we're gonna be nice to each other.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the best part of like the community that we've discovered here, because I didn't really realize it was like that
Yeah.
until we started getting into it.
I think it's because it's just so small.
Oh, yeah,
Because
tiny.
yeah, it's so small. And I mean, if we're not going to be nice to each other, who else is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
literally.
Oh my God,
I love that.
I can't wait to put that on TikTok.
Can I try to describe what I think your like drag style is, and then you tell me like what it actually is? And I could be like totally wrong, but like when I've been describing like getting ready for this, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be like kind of like ghoul, rockabilly, like 80s vibes. Would you say that that's like accurate?
That is definitely a big part of it. And then also just like, it's a huge mixture of like a bunch of different stuff, because like it's definitely like glam rock 80s, and also Night Prince of Darkness, and also like clowncore, and also like so much. But yeah, mainly I do like the 80s rockabilly type stuff.
Yeah, and I get all that from you. I think that is what kind of like sticks with me the most. But I also just love a person that doesn't put themselves in a box. So I love that you do all those different things and experiment and like do different types of numbers and looks.
And what's so beautiful about that is like as soon as Fanny does something, you're like, that's so Fanny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you don't know, like, you're right, there's no like specific box that he fits in, you know?
Yeah. Fanny is just Fanny.
Yeah.
There's no
Wait.
Fanny. Just the name Fanny is its own box that is also not a box that is also a box but also not.
An open box. You can go in and out.
Exactly.
When we were around Ducky just like a short little bit, she was like kind of like describing things as like lore, and that's like my new favorite thing now. And that's just like what it is, like us being in drag. I feel like we're creating our own lore and our own characters. And
Yeah.
Literally,
I
I'm
love
like,
it.
Amanda. And like the stories that could be written about her.
So what are like your like types of like inspirations for your style and makeup? I know you kind of like describe some of them, but do you have like specific things or like movies or media that influence you?
I am mostly influenced by other drag performers and actors and things. What mainly, it was an accidental inspiration in the sense that I didn't purposely take from this, but I also like, now that I've connected the dots, I'm like, oh yeah, I've definitely, excuse me, the corset locks them in, and I can't.
I get it.
We're gonna start like a burp count.
Take a shot every time Fanny or Polly burps.
Honestly.
Catch up, Polly.
I'm drinking water, so normally I got 8%. Okay, go ahead.
You're good. The Kabuki theater in Japan has like very heavily influenced all of my makeup, because I don't know if I think I've mentioned it before that I'm a theater kid, and I have always been super into like ancient theater, like the Greek theater, and one of the ones that I have really liked watching and like seeing videos and seeing all of the pictures of are just like how people put together their whole thing in kabuki theater, because like the color that they contour with or the color that they use on their mouth, all of that sort of stuff, everything all leads together into giving you the character that they're supposed to be.
Is this? Sorry,
Yeah,
Nikki
Nick
Doll.
actually pulled up some photos on Google that
Is that?
where they have like white faces and like
Yeah.
colorful contouring. It looks really beautiful.
Yeah.
I am also, one of the things about kabuki theater is that it's also, if I'm remembering correctly, it does have a lot to do with queer people, because
Like any theater.
yeah, I think it was either no theater or it was kabuki, but I think it was kabuki. I'm sorry if I'm getting it incorrectly, but you know, and as most Asian traditions have been, women weren't allowed to do theater, so it was like strictly men. And another thing was that theater, just in general, not necessarily just in Japan or everything else, just like as a general scope, theater has always been kind of risque, and that's part of the reason why women weren't allowed to be in it, because they just automatically assumed, like, you know, if you're an actor, then you're going to be like doing
Sinful?
sex work.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh my gosh, this is crazy right now because I'm reading Sasha Velour's book, and she literally has a whole chapter about exactly what you're saying, and you practically just said it word for what she was saying too, of just like, yeah, it was perfect. I'm like, oh, I love coincidences.
me too. I love Sasha, honestly. Oh, the rose petal thing was perfect.
Just everything, and reading the book is so amazing too, because it's like such a inside like view of just who she is and her art, and it's just
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah, just
I
anybody
should
that
look
knows the
into that.
history too is cool. Like, you know, in the history, I'm like, that's sick.
Yeah.
Well, and it gives validity to who we are. Like
Yeah.
it just, we're not just like doing it because of blah. We know what we know.
I went to college for theater for a little bit, and one of the only units that I've ever like gone through before dropping out of college twice was the class in Theater 101. They talk a lot about ancient theater tactics and you know, what theater was like back then and everything, because we talk a lot. You know, in order to know what theater is now, you have to know what theater was like back when it first started, and it's really interesting to me. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it was
And
super cool.
I feel like it's so prevalent in your performances too, like that you're a theater kid, but specifically on Ducky's TikTok page,
Oh.
we did a Madhouse just binge of a bunch of videos of you guys doing like a conjoined twins thing. It was
That was
and,
so
like,
cool.
It was
you
so
could just
good.
see the passion and how
The
you
artistry.
act. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was just amazing.
We
was
pulled
like,
it up on the TV. We were like, everyone, group watch. We need
Yeah.
to see.
a true star is born tonight.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
it
That
like
was-
moved us, and that's like what like art is supposed to do.
I love drag.
Yeah.
Like I love when drag. Like I love when drag's cunty, but I love when drag moves me too.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
like fuck.
And I love when it's both. Porque lo no dos.
I love when the drag drags.
Wait.
I love, part of why I wanted to start doing drag is because, like, okay, ever since I was a little kid, I've always wanted to like do theater or do some sort of entertainment as my career, and it is just specifically because I like making people feel bad, or like not bad necessarily, just like
yeah.
sad, or like I like making people experience emotions, and it's just really fun to really put that into with my drag too, because a lot of the songs that I don't do them much because of the places that I'm booked, but like because the audience doesn't really pay attention, so there's not really like a point in doing it.
Oh my god.
But I really enjoy like doing super emotional numbers.
Ooh.
It's
Oh, I love that.
so good.
I tried doing one, and I need to take a break from it because it's hard. It's like really putting yourself out there, and it feels more awkward and vulnerable. I would like to have more attempts later. But I do know that Amanda likes to make people sad when she performs too. So
Wait, which performance are you talking about?
my second number actually for Frankenfurter, I'm Going Home.
Yeah.
I feel like I felt awkward during it, but
no, it was
You
so
did
good.
amazing.
I remember
Thank
I
you.
like almost teared up.
Okay, so for our audience, we keep having technical difficulties. So if it's a little spotty, sorry, but also like we don't care. I also want to
Damn.
apologize for my posture. It probably is terrible. I probably look weird. I probably haven't even shown my face. So excuse me.
you can just add that to the beginning of every episode.
I know my.
It's Fanny core to have bad posture.
Yeah. But we probably are nearing the end, and you guys did have some questions.
Oh yeah. So
so-
you were talking about like your inspirations and stuff, and I was gonna ask you if there's like any like media that you recommend, like queer or not, that you think everybody should consume.
I think hitting up your local theater is one of the best places to go. Hitting up your local drag performances is also obviously the best place to go. So me personally, I don't really consume a lot of like queer media. I mean, I watch Our Flag Means Death. There isn't any queers that don't really know what that is. So, you know,
I mean, I don't think we've watched it ever, but
you
I
should.
have.
It's so good. It's so good.
okay. So adding that to the watch list.
Yeah, there is a list.
And I have like specific performers that I look at sometimes too. Like there's obviously Loveless Ducky Loveless and Medza and this bitch, and there's also this other artist that is on Instagram that I learned about because I posted my face somewhere and they thought I was inspired by them, but I had no idea who they were. There's this drag artist that is on, I believe they do drag, but they're on Instagram and they're called Yo Soy Papercut. And they have like a strikingly similar face to mine.
Ooh, I can't wait to look it up.
But their costumes and stuff is so good.
Cool.
Oh, I love.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
I'm so excited to look that person
I know.
up.
I'm
Yeah.
interested.
Where did they do drag?
I think I don't remember. I think it might be Spain or Mexico or
Yeah.
another Spanish-speaking
Awesome.
country.
Cool.
Ooh.
I wanted to ask, since you were talking about being a theater kid, what's your favorite play or musical or Por qué no los dos?
I only ever consume the theater. Most of the theater that I've consumed has always been the ones that I've been in. My favorite play that I've ever been in was, and like just enjoy in general, was Taming of the Shrew from Shakespeare.
Oh my goodness.
It's just a really fun play to watch just in general because it's like, if you don't know the synopsis of it, basically there's this woman named Catherine who's part of this really rich family and she's the oldest daughter. There's also a movie that is based off of this that is called 10 Things I Hate About You.
I think I've heard of it.
Yeah. So, you know, there's the older sister from a rich family and she wants to not get married and she wants to just be a person. And, you know, she's considered a shrew because she's like kind of a bitch. And I played her when I did the play.
Nice.
And she's like so mean to everybody because they keep trying to like force her into doing things. And then, you know, there's her younger sister who's in love with this guy. And her younger sister is like, please, Catherine, Jesus fucking Christ, just get married. I'm so horny. And, but her dad and a few other people set Catherine up with Petruchio. And she's like, ew, fuck you. And he's like, yeah, you should. And this whole scene where they're getting to know each other, there's one version that I saw, I don't remember who it was, that was performing it, but they were basically just like flipping over each other and like throwing each other around, being like, I hate you. And he's like, but you shouldn't. You're so pretty. If my face was if you need a seat, my face is always open. Like,
Hey, oh my
Vulgar.
god. I want to get in this play.
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
it's so funny. But he also, like, when she finally relents and they get married, she's like sobbing because she doesn't want to marry him. And then he's like trying to force her into like not being herself and to like serve him as, you know, that whole shit. And then she's like avoidant about it, but eventually she finally is just like, okay, fine, I guess I'll make you dinner, God, but also I kind of like you. And then one of my favorite musicals, the favorite one that I've seen is the Alice by Heart that was just playing over at the Civic Theater. It's such a good show. The casting was amazing and all of that. It's about it's like an Alice in Wonderland story, but it's set in World War II in Britain, and they are all underground in a subway, trying to like be safe from all the bombings and everything. And Alice has a friend, I don't remember his name, but they've been childhood friends, and he has tuberculosis, and she is like trying to read him Alice in Wonderland to like help him and spend time with him and stuff, but you know, because he's sick she can't. And then it turns into like this whole Alice in Wonderland story, and it's about grief, and it's really good.
Ooh,
Cool.
that sounds really interesting.
We should do
Yeah.
more things, you guys.
See
There's
more
a whole world
things,
out
do more
there.
things.
Can you just make a podcast you describing any sort of media? Because I was
Literally, I
A
was so
musical, yeah.
captivated.
You should
like,
sell
then
things.
this happened, and then this happened, and I'm like, you're talking the exact way I need to be talked to in order to listen. You
We're
know,
about to lose our jobs.
Thank you.
So we're with our guests. We're going to start implementing a series of questions that we ask at the end
Amanda's
every time.
making us.
Oh my god.
Oh, I'm joking. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But before I ask those questions, I did want to present you with a gift.
Gift
for
for
coming
me?
onto the podcast. We're gonna call it a thrifty gifty.
I don't know if you saw, but when this bitch was on, we got them a porcelain clown
Yeah.
that we thrifted.
And she unfortunately put it up her butt.
So
Oh my god, I've always wanted one of these.
for the audience viewing from home on video, and then for audio, it is a fish mounted for the wall, and I'll let you press that button there.
Oh my god. I can't wait to hear it.
I don't know.
I don't think it's on.
Oh, it might not be on.
I think it just starts playing.
Song I wrote. Note for note. Don't worry.
Look at this fish.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Happy.
Be happy.
He's beautiful.
Yeah.
It has two songs on it. It has this one and another one. But when you turn it off, it doesn't actually turn off. So I'm really sorry about that.
No.
The funny thing is, I told them that I've always wanted one of those. And they got you one instead.
Oh my god,
Nice.
it's beautiful.
Oh, see?
Oh. Song number 2.
What's the song?
I don't know. It sounds like someone just...
Someone at Monterey doing karaoke.
This is gonna be the new thing. Everybody's gonna get one of these.
Yeah.
Wait, we should get half that.
Yeah. I'll just turn him off for when he's done singing. He's beautiful. I love him so much.
Yay.
Thank you so much for being a guest.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You've been absolutely
And
lovely.
yeah, you have shared so many great things. This is what we want out. This is honestly very great for us because it helps us get to know people that we otherwise don't know very well, but also just it just
have
gives
admired
us,
from afar.
it gives us a quick, speedy, fast forwarded way to just give us every information about you, and now we'll never forget.
Yeah, this is actually an hour-long date.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Do you agree to a second one or no?
I would love a second one.
I have so much more to ask.
Yeah,
I
'cause
feel like I could talk to you forever.
Yeah, there's so many
That's
more
the
things
thing,
we
too,
could
is
talk to you
I'm
about.
Literally, because we're gonna go for 100 years, we're gonna definitely have you back at some point.
Mhm.
Sick.
But
Thank you.
We have 4 silly questions here. Oh my god, they're silly. They're so silly.
You're so silly.
Okay, so number 1, what's your favorite animal?
So silly.
That's a really hard question. Okay, domestic animals, my favorite are cats.
Yes.
And
Accurate.
non-domestic animals, my favorite is crows and other corvids.
Yeah.
And I really like horses too.
Oh my god.
They are so cool and they're so smart and they can talk, right? Like you can train those to
Yeah.
talk, right?
And they like shiny things, and I love shiny things, and they have autism, and so do I. So,
Wait,
hooray.
maybe you and Freddie are more similar than we thought.
Wait, can I ask the second question?
Yeah.
Sure.
What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh my god.
that's also a hard question because I have 2.
Okay.
3 actually.
Give us all 3.
It's no particular order. I really like, there's this movie that's called The Autopsy of Jane Doe. I don't know how well it still is, but when I first watched it, I remember being enamored with it and super obsessed. Then the Scream franchise
Yes.
and the, I think it's called The Possession of Veronica or just Veronica.
Ooh.
Wait.
I haven't seen that one, but I see it like on streaming services all the time, so
Yeah,
I should
it's
watch
really
that.
good.
Is that in Spanish?
Yes.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
in Italian, I
I'm
think.
gonna watch
Oh,
it.
okay.
Sounds like
It's either Italian or Spanish. I don't remember.
a show for Moronica will be called The Possession of Moronica.
Ooh.
Why?
Just kill yourself. Damn. Polly, would you ask the third one?
Do you have like an embarrassing moment or memory? Like in drag? Is that like the question?
Yeah, like do you have your most embarrassing moment in drag? Yeah.
It was my first number.
Oh yeah.
I had muddy makeup, muddy eyeshadow because I kept being like, oh, brown will deepen it and it'll look cute. But it was blue. It was blue eyeshadow, blue, brown, and pink eyeshadow with really shitty eyeliner. And I was like, I'm going to do a double wing because that would be so cool. And then I wore this really gross outfit. It was like this Barbie pink top with a red plaid skirt and then something tied around the waist that was also a plaid.
Wait, beautiful.
And I performed Friends by Marshmallow, and then I went out there and I started performing, and I went down the stairs and my heel got caught on a step and I fell. And then I got back up and I kept performing, and then I went back on the stage, and then I like did one of my back bends and I dropped my fucking wig and I didn't even bother to put it back on, and then I left.
Back bends are a curse.
They should not be allowed in drag. That's awful, but also like it's kind of nice to get all that stuff out of the way, right?
Right.
Right off the bat.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
else could you do after that? Freddie, will you ask the last one?
Yes. What is your dream blunt rotation?
How many
God.
people?
What's your dream?
I'm gonna. Oh man.
Take your time. Take
Is
your
it
time.
Moronica, Freddie, Polly, and Amanda?
I mean, you guys are definitely added into the mix. I kind of think of you guys as one single person,
We agree to that.
We
yeah,
pretty
we
much
prefer
are.
that
Yeah.
actually.
and
Minus
you're
Amanda.
just like a mecca. You guys are a mecca of a person.
A hive
with-
mind.
Yeah, all of y'all are controlling a piece of it.
Yay.
We're alters.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
Like,
So
you know alters?
Shut up.
No.
Just,
Okay.
You can keep going, Fanny.
so y'all, Danny DeVito.
Hey,
Duh.
why?
I can't wait.
I feel like he'd be really fun to smoke with. Ducky, Medza, and the President of the United States, number 54.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm just kidding. I don't even know who's number 54. I don't
like,
think we've
it's
even
gonna
got
be me.
there.
Are we at 54?
It'll be me though.
No, I'm so excited to see who it is
Yeah.
because
I
I
don't
bet
even
it's gonna
think
be.
we will. It'll probably be after we're dead.
Oh, really?
We're only on 46.
Oh.
Let me see. Fucking Matthew Lillard, probably.
Okay. I can't wait for just Spokane fun people, and then Danny DeVito and Matthew Lillard. That'll be great.
Wait, his name is familiar. Who is
He's
he?
Shaggy.
Yeah.
And from Scream.
Oh, okay.
He played Stu Macker,
Zoinks.
Zoinks.
and he was also Stu in, or is his name Stu in SLC Punk?
I haven't seen that one. Is that where he has all the piercings? I feel like
Yeah.
I've seen. Yeah.
That's my favorite Matthew Lillard film.
Wait, what's it called again?
SLC Punks.
Okay.
It's about
Awesome.
punks
Added to the
and
list.
SLC.
Okay.
Well, that concludes the exclusive interview with Fanny DeVito,
Oh my god.
King of the City. We want to thank you again for being here with us. We want to thank the audience out there.
For bearing with us.
Yeah, always. We're so thankful all the time. Just so y'all know, we about to go see Jinx Monsoon. So you wish you were us. Yeah, we will see you guys next time. Follow us on Instagram, follow us on YouTube, subscribe, like, leave comments, interact. Do all the things that would make us bigger and better than we are today.
With a better budget, we could be a lot better.
Imagine me with a lace front.
Yeah. I'm scared.
Okay, thanks everyone. Oh, and our thing is that we also walk up to the camera to show off our look.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, sick.
we will be I gave y'all king, so you've got it. So I'll go first.
Lucky
got
us. Ooh,
Word.
ooh, ah,
CEO executive realness. She owns
God.
51%.
Of course that had to happen.
She shoots into the ceiling.
She shoots into this.
All right.
Oh my God.
What's
All
going to
right.
happen?
What about our children audience? Oh,
What about our children?
Oh, no.
Hey. She's reminding you that life is dragon, then you die.
Oh my God, Fanny,
But for real, look at my glasses and my tie.
She made all that, you guys. Good job,
a drag
Polly.
queen. Fanny, you're next.
Yeah, get up there, Fanny. Show them this beautiful artistry. Show them what makeup looks like.
Yeah.
Because
The
they've yet,
mug.
yeah, they've yet to see makeup.
Hello, this is my top, and this is my face.
He said this is his top and this is his face.
Perfect.
My butt.
That's his butt.
Those are beautiful
There are
shoes.
his shoes.
Those shoes.
The shoes are great. Freddie.
Freddie.
So y'all really want to be on YouTube? Forget Spotify.
Cat, boom.
Look at my beautiful natural hair.
He said,
Wait,
look at
and
his
this is a
beautiful
natural hair, y'all. She ain't lying. This is a mullet.
Oh my god.
Oh my God.
I miss my mullet.
Oh,
I love your haircut, by the way.
Thank you. I did it myself.
here comes
When
Moronica.
did you do it?
2 Saturdays ago.
Oh, okay. It's pretty recent.
Oh, giving Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Wow. Ooh. Giving fish.
Yes. Bye, everybody.
We let one out freely.